I'm Chef Ken Arnone, and we're here in the kitchen at the Cola Vita Center at the Culinary Institute of America. And right now I'm going to be doing a demonstration on the cooking method called pan fry. And when executed properly, pan fry really results in an item that is rich, crispy texture, and moist on the inside. Your best choices for pan frying would be small items that are tender portion cuts. So from a fish standpoint, cod, walleye, trout, and flounder work great, shrimp and oysters. Chicken, breasts, and thighs, make sure they're boneless. You can use pork and veal, cutlets and scallopini. You can also use eggplant and zucchini for this. So the foods that you're going to pan fry are typically going to be coated with either flour, breadcrumbs, a batter, cornmeal, or possibly even different grains. These items that you're going to use may need to be trimmed. You might want to consult your butcher on that, or you can also do it yourself. The other thing that's important is to make sure that they're pounded evenly. In the case of a chicken breast, the top portion's a little bit thicker. You might want to pound that. This is going to help with even cooking and targeting the right doneness. Now I'd like to cover some of the key points about pan frying. First and foremost, make sure you select the correct pan. You'd like one that has a heavy bottom and straight sides. Number two, make sure that you bread your items about 2 hours in advance and keep them in the refrigerator. This is going to help the breadcrumbs stick to the outside. Next is heat up the oil very slowly in the pan, medium heat. Don't turn it up all the way, otherwise you're going to hit that smoke point. You want to really be careful about that. When you put the oil in, make sure that you have enough that it's going to come halfway up the food itself when it's in there. This is going to help with even cooking. And lastly, when you put the food in the pan, make sure that you don't put too much. There should be no overcrowding and no overlapping. First, we have a veal scallopini or a veal cutlet here. We're going to season on both sides with salt and pepper. Typically, I use my left hand that's going to go into the wet in the center for the eggs, and the right hand as the dry. So I'm going to pick up the veal cutlet, place it in the flour. And one of the things that you want to do is make sure that you shake it off. You really want to get the excess flour off of there. Now the left hand is going to be used for the wet portion of the battering station. And you want to make sure that you coat it. When you pick that up, you want to take a look and make sure that you don't have any dry spots on there, because then otherwise in your breadcrumbs, when you put the breadcrumbs on, you are going to get a patch that's not coated or covered. Then you gently place that down. Do not put your wet hand in there. And then you can just move around the sides with the breadcrumbs to make sure that you get coating. Turn that over and gently pat it in. Very gently. Turn it one more time to make sure that it's been evenly coated. And one of the things that I always do is the plate that I'm going onto, I'll put some breadcrumbs on the bottom. You take your cutlet and you place it right down on the plate. You can notice that the surface is evenly breaded. Now our pan's been preheating over low-medium heat. And the best way to check the oil is first to take a look at it. You can see that it has a very gentle shimmer to it. And the other way is to take a little bit of breadcrumbs and just put a little pinch in there. You can see that they begin to bubble right away, and they will start to brown in a second. You know that you've reached the right temperature. Now, it's really important that when you're placing your item in the pan, you want to make sure that you do it away from you. This way, if there's any oil movement, it goes away and not towards you, and it won't splash and burn you. And now we're going to allow these to cook on this side until they're nice and brown. You want to make sure that during the cooking process, you only turn these one time. And the two best options for turning would be a slotted spatula and a pair of tongs. If you're going to use tongs, make sure that you're really careful that you don't break up the breading. And once again, turn away from you. Don't turn it towards you, otherwise you may get a splatter. Now you notice that we have a nice golden brown exterior on these. We're going to allow these to finish cooking on this side as well. Now our veal is fully cooked, and we're going to take them out. Using the slotted spatula, I'm going to make sure that I drain it relatively well over the pan. And you'll note that we're going onto a cookie sheet here that's lined with paper towels. Make sure you shut your oil off. Once you've drained the item thoroughly, you want to make sure you serve it immediately. This way you take advantage of that nice crisp texture.